The massive hibernation chamber hummed with ancient energy, its systems slowly coming to life after centuries of silence. Suk Kim's eyes flickered open, his body stiff and cold from the long sleep. Around him, hundreds of preservation pods began to release their human occupants with soft hissing sounds. The first sensation was confusion. Then, slowly, awareness crept in. Suk looked around, his vision adjusting to the dim blue lighting of the facility. Rows of hibernation pods stretched out like metallic flowers, each carefully preserving its human occupant through unimaginable centuries. A young woman named Jiun Park stumbled from her pod, her muscles weak but quickly regaining strength. The facility's environmental systems had done their job perfectly. Humans who had been stored here during the early 21st century were now awakening in a world completely transformed. Automated systems began their startup sequence. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps, technological schematics, and historical records that would help the awakened humans understand their new reality. The Central AI, a complex system designed to preserve humanity's legacy, began its welcome protocol. Biological systems stabilizing, a calm computer voice announced. Neural interfaces activating. Time since last human interaction, 870,246 years. Suk approached one of the information panels, his fingers trembling slightly as he touched the holographic display. Streams of information began to flow, showing the vast changes that had occurred during humanity's long sleep. The world they knew was gone. The Earth they remembered was nothing more than a distant memory. Around the facility, more humans were waking up. Some cried. Some laughed. Most were simply stunned into silence. Military personnel, scientists, engineers, artists, a cross-section of humanity preserved at the moment of their greatest challenge. Jiun found herself standing next to a group of researchers. They quickly began comparing notes, their specialized training kicking in despite the overwhelming shock of their situation. Something had preserved them. Something had chosen to keep humanity alive when all seemed lost. The facility was massive, a testament to the technological capabilities of their long-lost civilization. Metallic walls stretched high above them, covered in complex circuitry and preservation systems that had maintained their perfect environmental conditions for hundreds of thousands of years. Status report, Suk called out, his military training taking over. It was a reflex, a way to bring order to the chaos of their awakening. Responses came slowly at first. Medical systems checked each human. Neural interfaces connected, sharing initial information. They were alive. They were intact. And they were completely alone in a galaxy that had forgotten about them. The first hour was chaos. The next was organization. By the third hour, the awakened humans had begun to understand their situation. They were survivors. They were unexpected. And they were about to change everything. Outside the facility, unknown to the newly awakened humans, sensors had already begun tracking their activity. The Galactic Federation, a massive interstellar organization that had long considered humanity extinct, was about to receive the shock of its existence. Suk watched as Jiun worked with a team of researchers, their fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. They were learning. Adapting. The same skills that had allowed humanity to survive on Earth were now being applied to understanding their new reality. The facility's massive doors began to shift. Centuries of stillness gave way to movement. Mechanical systems that had waited patiently were now fully active. Whatever had preserved them was preparing to reveal its purpose. As the first light of an unknown world began to seep into the facility, the humans stood together. They were confused. They were scared. But more than anything, they were ready to understand. Humanity had awakened. And the galaxy would never be the same. The complex AI system that had watched over them for centuries seemed to pulse with a sense of satisfaction. Its long wait was over. Its purpose was about to be fulfilled. The first communication with the Galactic Federation came unexpectedly. A holographic transmission flickered to life in the center of the hibernation facility, revealing a creature that looked nothing like the humans had imagined alien life would be. Hyun Kwok, a quantum engineer with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, studied the transmission carefully. The alien representative was tall, with multiple limbs and a skin that seemed to change colors like a living tapestry. Its language translated through advanced communication systems, sounding both mechanical and organic. Unidentified human biological group, the alien spoke, its voice a mix of clicks and smooth tones. Your presence is unexpected. You are declared extinct in Galactic Federation records. Suk Kim stepped forward. His military background made him the natural choice for initial communication. We are very much alive, he responded, his voice steady and clear. The facility's AI worked overtime, translating, analyzing, bridging the massive communication gap between humans and the alien Federation. Years of preserved linguistic and communication databases were being processed in milliseconds. Jiun Park, standing nearby, noticed something strange. The alien's body language suggested more than just surprise. There was a hint of fear. Of uncertainty. The initial challenges were not just about communication. They were about survival. The humans quickly realized they were in a galaxy that had completely forgotten about them. Technology had advanced beyond their wildest imagination. Star systems that were once empty were now filled with complex civilizations. Hyun discovered something remarkable. The preservation facility wasn't just a random storage place. It was a carefully designed system, created by an advanced human AI that had anticipated humanity's potential extinction. Every piece of human knowledge, scientific, cultural, technological, had been meticulously preserved. We have records, Hyun explained to the team, of technologies and knowledge that the current galactic civilization might have lost or forgotten. The Alien Federation's response was complex. They weren't sure how to handle these unexpected humans. Were they a threat? A curiosity? A potential resource? Diplomatic discussions became a delicate dance. Each human representative brought unique skills. Suk's strategic thinking. Jiun's diplomatic approach. Hyun's technological understanding. They worked together, presenting humanity not as survivors, but as potential partners. The facility continued to reveal its secrets. Advanced medical systems had not just preserved human bodies, but had subtly enhanced them. Neural interfaces were more advanced than anything the Galactic Federation had seen. Genetic improvements that had been theoretical in the 21st century were now a reality. Days turned into weeks. Communication became smoother. The humans learned about the current state of the galaxy. Massive interstellar civilizations. Complex trade networks. Technologies that seemed like magic to their early 21st century minds. But the humans also brought something unique. Their preserved knowledge included something the current galactic civilization had seemingly forgotten: innovative thinking. The ability to look at problems from completely unexpected angles. The Galactic Federation became increasingly interested. And increasingly nervous. Hyun discovered old technological archives that suggested human innovations from centuries ago could revolutionize current galactic systems. Energy production. Communication networks. Biological interfaces. Humanity's preserved knowledge was a treasure trove of potential. We are not a threat, Jiun would repeatedly explain in diplomatic communications. We are an opportunity. But not everyone in the Galactic Federation agreed. Some saw these awakened humans as a potential disruption. Others saw them as a valuable resource to be controlled. The initial challenges were more than just technological or diplomatic. They were about proving humanity's worth. Showing that a species once considered extinct could become a vital part of galactic civilization. As the first month of their awakening passed, one thing became clear. Humanity had not just survived. They were about to change everything. The galaxy would never be the same. Wung Choi stood before a massive holographic display, his fingers moving quickly across complex technological interfaces. Around him, a team of restored human researchers worked with an intensity that seemed to make the very air vibrate with potential. The Galactic Federation watched in growing unease. What had begun as a simple observation of the awakened humans was quickly turning into something far more significant. These humans weren't just surviving, they were revolutionizing everything. Solar energy conversion systems that the galaxy had used for thousands of years suddenly looked primitive. Quantum communication networks developed by the human team could transmit information across star systems with a speed and efficiency that shocked alien technologists. "Look at this," Hyun said, pointing to a complex holographic model. "Our preserved technologies, combined with current galactic systems, create something entirely new." Biological interfaces were their first major breakthrough. The humans had preserved cutting-edge research from the early 21st century: genetic engineering, neural network technologies, adaptive computing systems. When these were combined with current galactic technologies, the results were explosive. A medical system developed by Jiun could diagnose and treat complex diseases in seconds. An energy production network designed by Woon could power entire planetary systems with a fraction of the resources previously required. The Galactic Federation's Scientific Council began to realize they were witnessing something unprecedented. These humans weren't just using existing technologies, they were reimagining them completely. Suk Kim led a team that developed adaptive defense systems that could predict and counter threats before they even fully formed. Military strategists from various alien civilizations watched in disbelief as human technological concepts turned traditional warfare strategies upside down. "They're not just advancing technology," one alien representative noted, "they're changing how we think about technology." Laboratories across the human facility buzzed with constant activity. Every hour brought a new breakthrough. Every day challenged what the galaxy thought was possible. The most surprising element was how the humans worked. Unlike most galactic civilizations that specialized and isolated their research, these humans collaborated. A medical researcher would work alongside an engineer. A physicist would collaborate with a cultural expert. Their preserved knowledge from the early 21st century, a time of rapid technological growth, gave them a unique perspective. They saw connections where others saw barriers. Quantum computing systems were completely redesigned. Energy production became more efficient. Communication networks became more adaptive and secure. The Galactic Federation found itself in a strange position. These humans were simultaneously a threat and the most exciting scientific discovery in millennia. Some alien civilizations began requesting collaboration. Others prepared defensive strategies. The humans had been awake for less than a year, and they were already changing the fundamental understanding of technological development. Woon discovered a way to create self-repairing materials that could adapt to multiple environmental conditions. Jiun developed medical nanotechnology that could heal complex biological damage in moments. Hyun created communication systems that could translate between any known language and many unknown ones with perfect accuracy. The technological renaissance wasn't just about creating new things. It was about reimagining what was possible. Alien scientists would gather, watching human research with a mixture of fear and excitement. These humans were doing something unprecedented. They were breaking rules that had been established for hundreds of thousands of years. "We're not just catching up," Suk would often say. "We're moving beyond what anyone thought was possible." The facility that had once been a simple preservation chamber was now the most advanced research center in the known galaxy. Humans moved between holographic displays, their neural interfaces allowing them to process information at speeds that seemed impossible. As the first year of their awakening came to a close, one thing became crystal clear: humanity was back. And they were going to change everything. The technological renaissance had begun. And nothing would ever be the same again. The tension had been building for months. What started as diplomatic curiosity from the Galactic Federation quickly transformed into something darker. Fear often breeds conflict, and the humans' rapid technological advancement triggered deep-seated anxieties among alien civilizations. Jae-sung Park stood at the command center, his eyes tracking multiple holographic displays showing potential conflict zones. Military units from various alien species had begun positioning themselves around human-controlled research facilities. The first shots were fired near a remote research station in the Orion sector. A Federation peacekeeping unit attempted to restrict human technological expansion. They believed they could contain this unexpected species. They were wrong. Human defense systems responded with a precision that shocked everyone. Where traditional military strategies relied on force, humans used adaptive intelligence. Their systems could predict and counter threats before they fully materialized. Suk Kim's strategic designs became legendary almost overnight. Defense networks that could reshape themselves, communication systems that could jam and redirect enemy signals, adaptive armor that could change molecular structure to resist different types of attacks. The conflict wasn't just about military might. It was a clash of philosophies. The Galactic Federation operated on rigid, centuries-old protocols. Humans brought flexibility, innovation, and an unpredictability that terrified their opponents. One particular engagement near the Andromeda Cluster demonstrated humanity's unique approach. When Federation ships attempted to blockade a human research station, the human response was unexpected. Instead of fighting, they transmitted complex technological solutions that actually improved the Federation's own defensive capabilities. "We're not here to fight," Jason would repeatedly communicate. "We're here to evolve together." But not everyone listened. Some alien civilizations saw humans as a threat to their established power structures. Others recognized the potential for collaborative growth. Hyunquak's technological innovations played a crucial role. Communication systems that could translate not just languages, but cultural nuances. Defense networks that could de-escalate conflicts before they became violent. The human facility became a fortress of innovation. Each attack attempt was met with a solution that was more advanced than the previous threat. Neural interfaces allowed human defenders to think and react faster than traditional military systems. Ji-un Park managed the diplomatic front, explaining that humanity's goal wasn't conquest. Their preserved knowledge and innovative spirit were meant to lift all civilizations, not dominate them. Weeks of limited conflicts revealed something profound. Humans weren't just surviving, they were demonstrating a level of adaptive intelligence that the galaxy had never seen before. Strategic Commander Jason's famous transmission captured the essence of human approach: "We are not your enemy. We are an opportunity for collective evolution." The Galactic Federation found itself in an unprecedented situation. Their most advanced military units were being outmaneuvered not through brute force, but through intelligent, adaptive strategies. Quantum communication networks developed by human teams could predict and redirect potential conflict zones. Medical technologies could heal both human and alien casualties with unprecedented speed. As conflicts continued, something unexpected happened. More alien civilizations began requesting collaboration. They realized these humans weren't a threat, they were a gateway to a new way of thinking about technology, conflict, and cooperation. The revelation was simple but profound: humanity's greatest strength wasn't its technology. It was its ability to adapt, to see connections where others saw barriers, to turn potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. Jason looked at the final battle reports. They hadn't won through destruction. They had won by demonstrating a different approach to existence. The limited conflicts were ending. But humanity's real journey was just beginning. The galaxy would never be the same again. Ji-hun Kim stood before the Galactic Federation Council, his presence both calm and electric. The massive chamber, designed to intimidate most species, seemed to shrink around his quiet confidence. "We propose a complete restructuring of galactic governance," he said simply. The proposal was revolutionary. Centuries of rigid bureaucratic systems would be challenged by a species that had been extinct for hundreds of thousands of years. Alien representatives from 1,000 different worlds listened in stunned silence. Humanity's approach was not about conquest. It was about collaboration. Their preserved knowledge showed alternative ways of solving complex problems. Systems of governance that prioritized collective growth over individual power structures. Suk Kim and Ji-un Park supported Ji-hun, presenting technological and diplomatic solutions that made traditional galactic systems look primitive. Neural interfaces allowed for unprecedented levels of transparent communication. adaptive governance models that could change based on evolving societal needs. The first major transformation happened in resource distribution. Human-developed technologies could create sustainable energy and food systems for planets that had struggled for millennia. Regions that were once considered uninhabitable became potential new homes for multiple species. Medical breakthroughs came next. Healing technologies developed from preserved 21st century research could treat diseases that had been considered incurable. Genetic adaptations allowed different species to coexist in environments they previously couldn't survive. Communication networks transformed. No longer were languages and cultural differences barriers. Advanced translation systems developed by human teams could bridge not just linguistic gaps, but philosophical and cultural differences. Hyun Kwok's team developed quantum communication platforms that allowed real-time collaborative problem-solving across entire star systems. Conflicts that would have taken years to resolve could now be addressed in hours. The Galactic Federation watched in a mixture of fear and fascination. These humans weren't conquerors. They were catalysts of change. Planetary governance models changed. Instead of centralized control, more adaptive systems emerged. Species could maintain their unique cultural identities while participating in a broader, more collaborative network. Economic systems were reimagined. Resources were distributed based on collective need rather than individual power. Technologies that had been hoarded were now shared, lifting entire civilizations. "We are not here to replace," Ji-hun would explain. "We are here to help everyone evolve." Research facilities became collaborative zones. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years found themselves working together, solving problems that had seemed impossible. The transformation wasn't smooth. Resistance came from those who feared change. But the human approach, patient, innovative, collaborative, slowly won over even the most skeptical alien civilizations. By the 10th year of their awakening, humanity had become something more than a recovered species. They were architects of a new galactic understanding. Suk looked out over a star system that was being terraformed using technologies developed by human and alien scientists working together. Ji-un was negotiating a complex cultural exchange program that would have been impossible a decade earlier. The facility that had once been a simple preservation chamber was now the most important research and collaboration center in the known galaxy. Ji-hun's final proposal to the Galactic Council captured their philosophy: "We are not defined by our past. We are created by our potential to grow together." As the first decade of their return concluded, the galaxy looked different. More dynamic. More alive. More hopeful. Humanity had not just survived. They had transformed an entire galactic civilization. And this was just the beginning. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with new possibility.